Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something really cool and interesting, which is we're going to be taking a look at an emulator for the new to be released computer, the Aquarius Plus, which is a remake of the Mattel Aquarius computer. And Sean Harrington is the one developing this along with some of his friends. And it looks really exciting because it offers a lot more enhanced capabilities to the regular Mattel Aquarius computer. So today I'm going to be looking at the emulator and testing it out and seeing what I think of it. So if you're interested in taking a look at some first initial reactions to the Aquarius Plus emulator on a Windows machine, then stick around and we'll get started right now. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is install the emulator, and I've actually already done that, but I'll just show you how to do that yourself. So here I'm going to bring over the Facebook, the Aquarius Plus user group right here. And if you're interested in this computer, feel free to go ahead and join the group. And somewhere in here is a link to the emulator. And it's not in the files section. I see there's nothing in the files section here, but there should be a post showing where to get the emulator. So I'm just going to search up here in the magnifier tool for emulator right here. I'm searching for emulator and we'll see what it brings up. So here there's a post from Sean Harrington, who's the one who is developing this Aquarius Plus device, and it's a post demonstrating the emulator. And here there's a post 4 days ago from Frank Vandenhoof that is a link to the emulator. Oh, and I see there's another one here, Windows x64 Aquarius Plus emulator. So this is where I downloaded mine from here at this GitHub link here. So if I open that, it brings me to this page here. And somewhere here, there should be right here, AQ Plus emulator x64.zip. So that's the one I downloaded and installed. And I think if I go back to this link here as well, oh, this link from Frank, it says, for those interested in the emulator, I have published a first binary release of the emulator for Mac OS. So I'll just click on this link and see where it brings me. So here it looks like there's a link or a download file for the emulator for the Windows version for x64, as well as a link to download the Mac version. So I've already downloaded the files for the Windows version, and when I do that, it unzips to something like this. So I've installed it in this folder called AQ Plus Emulator, and these are all the files and folders that it installed. And apparently I'm supposed to run this file here that says run me, but there is also an exe executable file up here called aquarius-emu.exe. So I'm just going to run the run me file, and I don't know if there's any help file in here, like a readme file that shows what instructions we need or anything to actually use this emulator. I'm just going to quickly open this USB folder, and if you're familiar with the Aquarius regular emulator Aqualite, it has a feature that allows you to emulate the micro expander or the Aquarius MX device, which allows you to load and save files to a USB stick, and those USB files are simulated in this USB folder. So I'm just going to open up this USB folder and see what's in here. So there are a bunch other folders, songs and a tutorial, and it looks like there's a folder here in Futo, which I presume are games. So there's a bunch of stuff already in this USB folder, as well as some files here, some binary files, images, a CAC file, basic file. So there's some basic files, a Tetris game it looks like, and I'm just wondering if there's any screen files, which would be .scr. So I don't see any in here, but I think there may be some in here somewhere. I'm pretty sure I saw some in here somewhere, because I'll be wanting to try out some screen images as well. So I'll just open up this tutorial folder. Okay, so here's a few .scr files I can test out as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and double click on this run me file here and open the emulator. This is actually the first time I'm trying it. Well, I tried it very briefly just to see if it worked, and it did. So this is what we see when we open up the emulator, and it also opens this command window here that's titled run me. So I'm just going to take a look at the emulator. I'll leave this command window open. I presume it needs it. I'll just minimize it. And it says basic, press return key to start. It looks really good. So there's no, from what I can see, there are no Windows menus up here. So there's nothing really to select other than this maximize option here, which I will choose. So I'm going to choose the maximize option. And this looks like just the regular Aquarius boot menu. So it doesn't look like the menu that comes up when you enable the micro expander mode on the Aqualite emulator, but I presume the Aquarius Plus has micro expander functionality built into it. I'm not sure what all the technical capabilities are, what the specs are, but it has, I know, more memory, and it has saving and loading capability to modern media, and I think it's probably an SD card, although there are USB ports, I believe, on the Aquarius Plus. I don't actually own the Aquarius Plus yet because it's not available yet, but I'm pretty sure that the saving and loading is to an SD card, but I could be wrong. It could be a USB stick. Anyway, so let's go ahead and press return, which brings us to this screen here, copyright 1982 by Microsoft Inc. S2. So we want to see that S2 version because it's the newer version of the ROM. There's an older S1 version ROM, but S2 is the newer one, so that's what we want to see there. And there's also a note here that says Aquarius Plus System ROM v 1.0. So the Aqualite emulator, for example, used a version of BASIC called USB BASIC. So this says a ROM version. So I don't know what version of BASIC we're using here, but I'm just going to try playing around with it and see how it works. So one thing I should let you know is when I first tried to run this emulator, I was getting all kinds of error messages complaining about missing DLL files, and apparently those are related somehow to C++ and or Visual Studio or Visual Studio code or whatever. So the only way I was able to get it working was actually I had to uninstall all of the C++ and Visual Studio related programs on my Windows box, and I reinstalled Visual Studio Code because that's what I use, as well as Visual Studio Community for 2022, and then magically the emulator started working again. So anyway, that's the way I had to get this emulator working on my system, but probably if your system is already set up correctly, it should work probably right off the bat. But anyway, that's what I needed to do. Alright, so now we're in the emulator here. What do I want to test? Well, first of all, like I said, I'm not sure what version of BASIC this is running. I presume it's some more advanced version compared to what's in the regular Aquarius computer. And I'm just going to test out a few things and see what happens. So I know one command in the Aqualite emulator that uses USB BASIC is the clear screen command, which is CLS, which is not in the regular Aquarius BASIC. So let's test that out. And it works. And I'm just going to do a DIR to see if it can... and I just now received a message from Sean Harrington advising me that it uses USB BASIC version 1.1, which is a slightly newer version than the version I used to develop my Dungeon Quest game. So it should have some even more commands available to it. So anyway, back to what I was going to do here. I'm going to do a DIR and see if I can access some files here in the virtual drive. And yep, it's accessing some folders and some files. So I see here there's a folder called Animate, and I'm just going to go to my Windows Explorer to see where this Animate folder is. And as you may be able to hear, my speaker that's connected to my computer is giving me some strange interference or feedback. I'm not sure if that's due to the emulator or what, but anyway, I'll just turn off my speaker for now. All right. So if I look in this USB folder, I see right here there's a folder called Animate. So this emulator must be, by default, looking in the USB folder, which is perfect. So actually, I don't need all this stuff in the USB folder for the programming experiments I'll be doing, but anyway, let's continue on and see what else we can find out about this. And I'm just going to turn my speaker back on because I'm going to be testing some sound. So I'll press Control C to stop the listing. Okay, so Control C works. And let's see if I can change directory by typing cd quote. And on this emulator, for example, quotation mark, which on my regular PC keyboard is in the normal spot, but on an Aquarius keyboard, the quotation mark is on the 2 key. So when I'm using, for example, the Aqualight emulator, I need to press Shift 2 in order to get the quotation mark. But with this emulator, it looks like I can actually use the real keys on my keyboard to get the symbols that I'm looking for, which is great. So I'm going to try to change to the ROMs folder like this. And now I'll do a directory. And it looks like I'm in the ROMs folder now. There's lots of ROMs here. And I think I can run these ROMs just by typing run. So here's a ROM called melody.rom. Let's see what that looks like if I try to run melody. And one thing I noticed is this emulator responds super quickly. It's as if I don't even know I'm typing in an emulator. Normally when I'm typing in an emulator, I have a lag and have to be careful not to type too quickly. This thing lets me type really quickly, which is fantastic. So okay, what do I want to do? Run melody.rom. Although it does seem to give me some extra keys once in a while. I don't know if that's just me being sloppy with the keyboard or maybe this thing's too sensitive, it's picking up all my keys. But I'd rather it be too sensitive than not sensitive enough. So I won't complain. So let's press enter here and see what happens. Okay, that's cool. Oh, I guess this is a game called Melody. Press any key to begin game. Okay. Not sure what I'm supposed to do here. I'll just press the space bar. And I'm not interested in playing any games right now, so how can I get out of here? Escape. Control C. Q. Shift Q. Function keys. Okay. Not sure how to stop this game. Alright. So I'm just going to restart the emulator because I don't know how to get out of that game. There's probably a way, but I don't know what it is. So I'll go back to my emulator folder here. I don't know if there's a way I can pin this execution file or this run me file to my taskbar. Can I just drag this over to my taskbar? Pin to taskbar. Yep, I can. Okay. So I'll try running it down here from my taskbar. Uh-oh. So I'm getting a error message here. Debug assertion failed. Program. Press retry to debug the application. Retry. Okay, not sure what that did. I'll just try it one more time, see if I get the same error message, and I do. Microsoft Visual C++ Runtime Library. Okay, I don't know what that's about, so I'm just going to try double-clicking on Run Me again. Hopefully this, okay, so this works. So I better get rid of this shortcut down here since it's not helping me. Unpin from taskbar. All right. So here we are back in the emulator. I'll go to full screen, and I do get some sort of interference, kind of choppy sounds on my speaker at times using this emulator, but we'll see if that becomes more prevalent or not. So last thing, I was doing a dir, and I'm still in the USB directory, which is good. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. Let's see if there's any basic programs. Well, it looks like there are some basic programs here. Sound-psg.bas. Let's try loading that. So load. See, when I press the, probably just me being sloppy on my keyboard. Load. Okay, so it gives me both the quotation mark and the apostrophe when I'm trying to, oh, so if I press the shift quotation mark, I get the quotation mark, but if I let go of the shift key first before the quotation mark key, then I get the non-shifted key, which in this case is the semicolon. Okay, so I'm not crazy. It is giving me extra characters. Okay, so load. What was I going to load? Sound-psg.bas. Okay. Sound-psg.bas. So that's loaded. Let's list it. Okay, I presume that's going to play some sound for us. Let's run it. Nice. Okay, cool. I haven't, unfortunately, had a chance to play around with creating sounds other than simple beeper sounds, which are pretty lame for the most part. But it would be cool to use the programmable sound generator and the AY sound chip, which I'll get to at some point. All right, so CLS, clear screen. All right, so now what I want to do, let's try a beep. Oh, actually, it's not a beep, is it? Sound 10, 10. Okay, that was very quick. Say sound 100, 100. All right, so let's try a simple program. I'll say 10 for F equals, let's say 1 to 200, and you don't need any spaces in the Aquarius when you're entering instructions like that. You can lump it all together. 20 sound F comma F comma F, 30 next, and I'm guessing there's probably still the line characters restriction. So on the original Aquarius computer, you can have a maximum of, I think, is it 72 characters per line in BASIC. So I'm guessing this is probably the same. And let's run this program and see what happens. Humming noise in addition to the beep sound for some reason. So yeah. Okay, not sure how to get rid of that beep sound, so I'm just going to restart the emulator. Actually, the humming sound. So yeah, it sounded like it was giving me a background constant hum combined with the beep noises that my program was generating. So let's see what else we can play around with here. So what I want to do is load a screen image, and I don't think there are any screen images in this USB folder, although there are binary images here. image1.bin. But before I play with a binary image, yeah, I don't see any .scr files. I'm just going to copy an scr file to this USB folder. So here, I remember when I went to the USB folder and I go to tutorial, there's some scr files here. So I'm just going to grab this one, splash.scr. I don't know what it is. Oh, I guess I do. Is this the preview of the screen there? No, it can't be. Yeah. So I'm going to grab this one and copy it, and I'll paste it into the main USB folder here. Paste. So now here it is here. So now if I go back here and I type dir, I should see this splash.scr file somewhere. Okay, there's a splash directory here. Okay, here's my splash.scr file right here. So let's try loading that up. And I'm going to do that by typing load. Yeah, see, I got an extra apostrophe there. Splash.scr, comma 12288, because 12288 is the beginning of the display memory at that top hidden line, hidden row, and we'll press enter. And I'm guessing that's not how the colors are supposed to look. Oh, because it scrolled it up. Because of this OK message, it must have scrolled up the characters, but it didn't scroll up the color attributes. So what I'm going to do is make a program, 10 load splash.scr, comma 12288, and then 20 go to 20. So it'll just loop endlessly and it won't scroll the image up. So let's run this and it should look, I think, better. And there we go. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. Okay, so I can load screen images instantly, which is good. Control C to break. Now let's do a dir again and look for, can I change I'll do CLS. Okay, so now I have my normal colors back. dir, and here's some binary files here, image1.bin. Let's see if I can load that. Image1.bin 12288. Okay. Oh. So I guess maybe it's not an image file, but it says image, right? So now I'm getting in my command window, I'm getting all this BPS serial printer messages. So I don't know what that means. I pressed Control C and that went away. So I'm opening, oh no, I don't want to open splash.scr. I want to open my emulator again. Run me. Here we are, maximize. All right. So this file here says image1.bin, but it's 8 kilobytes. And a regular screen image should only be 2 kilobytes, 1 kilobyte of character data and 1 kilobyte of attribute data. So maybe this is actually a program that you run and it creates an image, I'm guessing. But I do have my own images that I can try. So I'm just going to go to my own folder for another game I'm developing. And I'll grab a screen image from there, which is a binary image. Okay, so I've just copied over a binary part of a screen image right here, base 1A. So this is a very small file, I think, although it says 1 kilobytes. Anyway, so this is a binary image. It's not a SCR file, but it should be a binary file that I saved. And if I do a directory, I should see it here as well. right here, base 1A. So let's try loading that. Load base. Yeah, so I still keep getting this extra apostrophe because I'm taking my finger off the shift key before my other finger off the quotation key. But anyway, load, I imagine that's probably an easy fix. Load base 1A, comma 12288. And there we go. So this base 1A is just this small string of characters here, which you'll be seeing in an upcoming video of mine. And so this works as well. So that's good. So far this emulator is working great. It's really responsive. It's working fine for loading screen images, and I presume I can load and save basic programs as well. Well, I've been loading basic programs, so let's just clear the screen here, and we'll type in a basic program, 10 rem testing save. So yeah, I keep getting that apostrophe. Save testing.bas. Okay. Save testing.bas. All right. Now dir. I should have testing.bas in here somewhere. Right here, testing.bas. So let's load it. Actually, we'll do a new list is empty, CLS. Now we can, so list shows nothing. Load testing, and I think I don't need to put the quotation mark at the end, and it should be, yep, there it is. So I can load basic programs, save basic programs, load screen images, load data, and I presume I can load machine code programs the same way I just loaded data to the screen. I should be able to load data to memory. And let's check the free memory. So if I do print free nine, and it doesn't matter what you put inside the brackets, I get minus 31314. And on the Aqualite emulator, so for example, let me open up the Aqualite emulator. Right here, and we can do a little comparison. So on the Aqualite emulator, if I type print, and I'm getting a lot of static from my speaker, print free 9, then you get 30116, and of course I don't have any program loaded, but I would expect to have more free memory available in the Aqualite since I don't have a basic program loaded, whereas in the Aquarius Plus emulator I do have a very small program loaded, a single line program, and it gives me this number for my free memory. Let's I'm just going to close this Aqualite emulator now, and I'm curious to see this. I presume this is 2's complement notation, so I'm just curious to see if that number goes up or down when I allocate even more memory. So let's say I'll add line 20 dim a string, and I think there's by default a maximum of 50 characters. Well, I can check it. So there's a certain amount of memory by default allocated for strings. Is it strings? No, for array variables. Is it array variables or strings? I forget. Anyway, there's a certain amount of memory allocated for, I think, arrays. And you can, actually no, it's for string variables. So if I type print free, and let's say a string, I'll put any string here, 50. So there's 50 characters available for string variables, and you can adjust that number as well. But let me just try dimensioning a string variable with, let's say, 30 characters, like that. So now there should be 30 bytes reserved for the A string variable, and now I should have less memory available. So if I print free, now I get minus 31445. So this number is going up. So I presume when I convert that to 2's complement, then it would actually go down. So I should be getting a smaller amount of memory available every time I use up more of it. So if I add another line number, 100 rem print free, and now the available memory went from minus 31445 to minus 31320. So I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, let me run the program. Actually, let me see what I'm working with here. So my listing looks like that, and let me just enter another line, dim A string 30, and then 400, let x equal 5, and then I'll put some free memory reports in the middle of this. So let's say 5 print free, and then 210 print free, and then 500 print free. So if we take a look at this listing, it's going to print the available memory, then it's going to dimension a string variable, then it's going to print the free memory, it's going to allocate a numeric variable, then it's going to print the free memory. So let's run it and see what happens. So it goes from 31376, or minus 31376, to minus 31507. Oh, and I just have an extra 0 here. So that's just a little typo, so we can ignore this 0. So the minus 31376 goes to minus 31507 to minus 31513. So this number is going up as I use up memory. So this must be the 2's complement value. Alright, so let's try something else here that the normal Aquarius can't do, and I'm guessing this can't either, which is go to a variable instead of a actual numeric value for a line number. So if I clear the screen and I do list, and if I say go to 100, it will try to go to 100. So let me just type a new program here. I'll say 10 rem nothing 100 print hello 9999 stop. And of course the Aquarius can use more than 9,999 lines in BASIC. It can use, I think, 65,000 lines or somewhere around there. So if I run this, it says hello, then it stops. So if I go to 100, it runs it as well. But if I say let A equal 100, and then I print, and I can use a question mark instead of typing out print, I'll say print A is 100. If I go to A, then it doesn't work. So I can't go to a variable. And let's see if it handles variable names any differently than the Aquarius. The Aquarius only looks at the first 2 characters. So if I say score equals 3, let score equal 3. Oh, yeah, that's right. You can't use the word score because it has the word or embedded in it, which is a reserved word. So you can't even use a variable name called score in your programs. So let's say science. Is that going to work? Science equals 3, and print science is 3. Now if I say sc scoop, let's say scoop equals 4, then I print scoop is 4, print science is also 4 because it's only looking at the first 2 letters. And I could also use a letter followed by a number. Let's say S2 equals 7, print S2. So that's not an array, it's just a variable called S2. It's not, 2 is not an element, it's just a part of the variable name. So if I said S25 equals 25, S26 equals 26, print S26, 26, print S25 is also 26 because it only looks at the first 2 characters. Okay, which is to be expected because it's USB basic version 1.1, which I'm somewhat familiar with. Okay, cool. So far I'm liking this emulator, and the things that I like about it most so far are the responsiveness. It is very responsive. It can respond as fast as I can type, basically. And I like, it looks really crisp and sharp on my screen. It has the same functionality of a micro expander or an Aquarius MX built into it, it looks like. I can do directory listings, I can load and save data and programs, which is awesome for making games. So this looks fantastic. Now I do know the Aquarius Plus does have some advanced graphics capabilities such as sprites and I think tiles, and I'm not sure what all else it has, which I believe the current version of BASIC that I'm running here cannot access those features, but I presume they can be accessed by machine code. So that's great. At least I can do my same basic programming that I've been doing up until now using this new emulator to develop games for the Aquarius Plus. So that's cool. So there we go. That's just a quick initial first look at the new emulator for the Aquarius Plus computer. It looks pretty exciting. It looks pretty cool. And if you're interested in doing any development for the Aquarius Plus, then you should probably get in touch with Sean Harrington. He can give you information on how to use the emulator and what exactly you need to do to get started. Otherwise, it looks pretty good, and I'm excited to get started developing some games for this computer. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this quick look at the AQ Plus or Aquarius Plus emulator, and hopefully you'll learn more about the project yourself. Come and join the Facebook groups and get involved. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.